Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi there, with me Yuriza Maulidina. In this video, we are gonna learn about monetary and fiscal policy. You're likely familiar with these two concepts, or at least heard of them, two of more important concepts in economics, and the focus really is on trying to improve the health of the economy. Now we want to know how these two policies can improve economic condition. Well, for the first, we're gonna talk about monetary policy. We will learn about definition of monetary policy, types of monetary policy, the role of monetary policy, and the instruments of monetary policy. Let's get started. What is monetary policy? Monetary policy is the use of interest rates and changes to the money supply to achieve relevant economic objectives. Monetary policy, this is all connected really with interest rates. Who manages monetary policy? Monetary policy is controlled by central banks. In Indonesia, monetary policy is controlled by Bank Indonesia. The main of Bank Indonesia is try to keep inflation or price rises low within a target. Next is types of monetary policy. There are two types of monetary policy. First is contractionary monetary policy and expansionary monetary policy. Central bank use contractionary monetary policy to reduce inflation. They reduce the money supply by restricting the amount of money banks can lend. Central bank use expansionary monetary policy to lower unemployment and avoid recession. They increase liquidity by giving banks more money to lend. Next, let's talk about the instruments of monetary policy. There are some instruments in monetary policy. First, open market operations. Open market operations are a way to control money circulating in the community by selling or buying government securities. The government will buy government securities if they want the money supply to increase. However, if you want to reduce the amount of money in circulation, the government will sell government securities to the public. Some government securities include Sertifikat Bank Indonesia or SBI and Surat Berharga Pasar Uang or SBPU. The next instrument of monetary policy is discount rate. The discount rate is a way to regulate the amount of money circulating in the community by playing the interest rate of the central bank at commercial banks. In order to increase the money supply, the government lowered the central bank's interest rate. And if the government wants to decrease the money supply, the government will raise the interest rate. The next instrument is reserve requirement ratio. Reserve requirement ratio is a way to regulate the amount of money in circulation by playing the amount of bank reserve funds that must be deposited with the government. If the government wants to increase the amount of money in circulation, the government will reduce the reserve requirements ratio. And if the government wants to decrease the amount of money in circulation, so the government will increase the reserve requirement ratio. The next instrument is moral appeal or moral persuasion. Moral appeal is a monetary policy in order to regulate the money supply by giving an appeal to economic actors. For example, such as giving an appeal to lenders to be careful in issuing credit This aims to reduce the amount of money in circulation. Then, it will call on banks to borrow more money from the central bank in order to increase the amount of money circulating in the economy. The last instrument of monetary policy is selective credit. Selective credit is the politics of the central bank in order to reduce the amount of money in circulation by tightening lending. The role of monetary policy. There are some rules of monetary policy. First, set the minimum reserve percentage in the bank based on the amount of money circulating in the community. Second, set lending rates so that economic stability is maintained. Next, moral appeal to economic actors by means of the government will urge every bank to be careful in giving credit. Set deposit rates so that if the government wants to increase in money circulation, deposit rates must be raised. Conversely, if the government wants to reduce money circulation, deposit rates must also be reduced. Maintaining price stability by reducing money circulation. And the last, play a role in playing the interest rate of the central bank in commercial banks. Alright, then we go to the fiscal policy. We are gonna learn about definition of fiscal policy, types of fiscal policy, the role of fiscal policy, and the last, the instruments of fiscal policy. Fiscal policy. Fiscal policy is the use of government spending, taxation, and borrowing to achieve relevant economic objectives. The objective of fiscal policy is to create healthy economic growth. Types of fiscal policy. There are two types of fiscal policy. First, expansionary fiscal policy, and the next is contractionary fiscal policy. In expansionary fiscal policy, the government spends more and cuts taxes or both. The idea is to put more money into consumers' hands so they spend more. The increased demand forces businesses to add jobs to increase the supply. This happens when the economic growth is low. Contractionary fiscal policy. In contractionary fiscal policy, government will increase the taxes and cut the spending. And this happens when the inflation is high. Next is the role of fiscal policy. There are some rules of fiscal policy. First, reduce the inflation rate by minimizing government spending. Welfare for the community by regulating the economy in the form of expenditure, taxes, shopping, and debt to be more stable. Reduce the unemployment rate by increasing government spending and transfers. Increase community income by increasing government spending, such as procurement of road, bridge, government building construction project, or buying military equipment, hospital, or office. Fiscal policy has the main instruments. They are expenditure and tax. Alright, that's all the material about monetary policy and fiscal policy. Thanks for watching this video. Bye!